Welcome everybody to Shogun 2 Total War, episode 13, Rockpoke's Perspective. Basically what happened was my microphone did not record during the session. And, so, what we've decided to do is instead, he will have the full thing, while my episode will simply be shorter. Originally this video is about 1 hour and 11 minutes of gameplay, and I'm just going to basically give you guys a rundown of what happened during these crucial moments of the Tokugawa campaign, because one of the first things, there were three major things that occurred. One major thing was this battle that you are seeing currently, the battle for South Shinano, the second battle for South Shinano, I think it was. No, this was the first battle of South Shinano, where Kagetoki Honda had defended against the Yamadara family from taking South Shinano. What I decided to do, as per usual with any help from Mr. Officially Devon, was go with the regular spear line wall and just hold out until further notice, until the men are truly seen to have the ability to win. Now at this point in the battle, we see that they are mainly coming in from the left front. That is currently being a major successful thing. This front of the west will simply be, well, the left side will simply be the first brunt of the assault. There's no real problem, because we know that the general will not go out until the last man dies. And so we immediately see the katana cavalry have dismounted, and they are now beginning to climb the walls on my gates. So South Shinano, wait, are they? Because that's exactly what they did. They dismounted and they started climbing the wall. I prepared my archers for the rain of fire that is going to occur, and we go on thinking everything will be fine, and everything should in fact be fine at this point. The climb has officially begun, and the katana cavalry are now marching towards my walls and my spear line. It is then when I decide we can start lighting them ablaze. Unfortunately, with the lag that is occurring within my game, we do not see the fire occur until literally about a good 2 minutes after they have finally made it into the wall. The katana cavalry are very swiftly cut down on the left side, because there's no way in the world they were going to get through the line of fire that was just coming, the rain of fire that was just coming at them. Meanwhile, I begin to grow a little concerned on the other side, because the second force is now halfway to their destination, while at the same time the same front with the katana cavalry are now pushing into my spear line in a very desperate attempt to get through. We also have the backup forces coming in with the generals behind them to start marching in. Here they are. They're beginning to prepare to engage, and they are swiftly stopped by my long yari and my barrage of arrow fire coming down upon them. They will be able to stop my archery tower from firing down, but not my archers themselves, which are very much more effective in this little assault brunt. We also have, on the other side, nothing, because they're not there yet. And we see that our men are just preparing for an inevitable attack. Then I noticed something very, very dangerous. I didn't notice this at first, but I now saw that both samurai were now shooting down on my backup units over there by the archery tower on the other side. So I moved my units as close to the other wall as possible, as I knew there weren't going to be any attacks from that front. Meanwhile, the katana cavalry are swiftly chopped down by any force. What winds up happening is that one of the katana cavalry units manages to get to the other wall, a side of the wall we didn't even anticipate they would climb, and there were some major problems later on with that. after a long, hard stretch, and the both samurai firing down upon me, they climb up with their second tier units. And it's also at this point where that problem I mentioned earlier has occurred. The katana cavalry were inside of my were up on my top tier, and I was just so upset because my man refused to kill that man no matter what I did. So Alex decides that he's got a way of fixing the problem, and he moves one of my spearmen towards the place of where that katana cavalry was currently stationed. And he does it was a genius stroke that it did not occur to me because, well, it's katana cavalry. What the heck were they gonna do? But basically, they were just not going to. He was not going to survive too long, and they're just rushing in. Their other samurai who are just pushing everyone inside. I managed to finally realize that nothing really was going to happen down on the other side, so I just decided, why not just move that? So we decided to just say, hey, why not move the spear line onto the other flank, so that you could just like push in on the units from the back, while at the same time moving your other units in from the top tier to finally strike down, since the both samurai were climbing the wall. It was a stroke of pure genius that army came up with, and I executed it as quickly as possible. So now men begin to waver on my front, on that front where I'm just holding the line, and I start pushing my other spear lines, since no unit was actually coming towards them, to just like start folding onto the inside. And at the same time, I push out the top tier units like I said I was going to do, and just like just smash right to the side of those Yari samurai, and the Yari Naginata samurai over there. And then I was going to sweep in and crush anyone who came up that hill. Already I had a hill advantage, just like ready. I just send out the lone sword to just prepare to engage with the Yari samurai, and the other spear line just begins to begins to swing towards the side and just like start pushing towards the other front. At that point where we noticed finally that the other side has finally begun its assault, because they're finally right near the katana cav who are at the gate. The Naginata samurai who were climbing there were completely unnecessary. They were gonna die anyhow, because they just couldn't do anything else about it. I had completely surrounded them. I completely surrounded those two units, and they were being shot down by archer fire. My men were just safe from any arrows. I could have moved up that long yard to encircle them on the other side, but I decided that it was a more pressing matter to just go and deal with that issue that was now over there, because the archer fire was now I could see would now start killing my own men. That's where we decided to start moving on the other side. It is also around this time where they've pushed in their assault, and they're now climbing the wall. I see major trouble going on around there, and we were immediately trying to fix that, like, as swiftly as possible. And then we see both samurai firing down on the dojos. The dojos weren't the concern, so I just let them all die, pretty much. So we just kept shooting down on them on the other side, and the katana wackos were now going to engage with Naginata Ashigaru. Very, very, very bad situation in this instance. So I just say, you know what? Let's push in another Naginata Ashigaru before they actually decide to climb the wall. And they decide to climb the wall anyway. I was like, oh crap. So now we fixed the problem, and I can finally move other units into the other side. We can deal with the issue at hand. But these katana wackos just desperately trying to make that climb. They just keep going. They keep going at it, and I'm just firing down on them, stopping them from doing any real damage. And then all of a sudden, they're both samurai just start firing down on my reserved units in the back lines. So I say, you know what? Let's push them down. Let's go ahead and just encircle the guys on the back, in the bottom there. So we now have the katana cavalry just sitting there waiting, while the whole front of the Takeda lines has begun to crumble. One of my units decided that it was a great idea to start pushing into the castle when he was currently engaged in combat, and that I did not approve of. It's also around this time that the generals are also making their way up the wall. An expected move, and both Army and I are now beginning to make our counter assault to stop them from coming in and assisting their battle. While at the same time, I'm also going to crush any more resistance from the katana cavalry coming on the other side. The generals are pushing, and they're pushing up the wall. I see a very big weakness until I realized, okay, we're fixing the problem very fast. We're just gonna step in right there. We're gonna deal with these problems. So I tell my men to start, just rush to the line. While everyone else, come back. There's no need to go and chase them out of the castle. So as generals approach, they're getting fired down upon by my archery towers. But they're still marching away, I see. I thought I told them to march back somewhere. They decided not to, I guess. Whatever. We're just going to deal with that problem with those katana cavalry. Not katana cavalry, katana samurai. I thought they would climb the wall for sure, but I retake the gate. Finally decide, you know what? I don't care anymore. Just start killing them. Just start killing the bow samurai. So every unit who was not listening to me before just immediately is told to bone rush the bow samurai and stop them from getting any advances. Meanwhile, Army has moved in the dojo to strike down the generals, and I decide it's finally time to make one big push and finish the job once and for all. Spear line no longer necessary. Just start killing the general. I also decided that it would be a great idea to now stop the escape route of the generals so that they could not live to fight another day. Oh god, if only it worked the way I thought it was going to work. It did not. Oh god, did it not. My men just stayed in spear line, and I could not get them to rush towards the goddamn gatehouse for the life of me. Plus, more units were pushing in. Those samurai were breaking without a doubt. My men were tired, but it's okay, because they were just going to slaughter the both samurai without any trouble. They got katana cav coming in, and it's going to be met with a long yari wall. So, this general unit shattered, and he is about to escape, this bastard. But he's not going to survive the battle. That's for sure. If I don't get him, freaking the Takada will. So we fixed all of the problems, and the battle is practically won at this point. Even though the balance bar says it's not actually in my favor, we pretty much won this fight. They make a last-ditch effort. I will say they do make one last-ditch effort to go ahead and try and win. I send in the Yari Samurai to finish the job down there at the bottom, and we just simply wait for extra orders because the generals on the other side have completely shattered, and we've lost that, and we've won that front. I also know that my archers no longer have any ammunition on the side that they're going to attack next. Oh god, that's a major flaw in my plan. When I thought we had everyone prepared, I move everyone to the line, to the other side, in preparation for intercepting the soldiers before they can climb the walls. Unfortunately, we did not anticipate what would happen next. Oh, did we not anticipate what would happen next? Good God Almighty. Jesus mercy. So I instead choose a different route, tell my men to go up into the Tenshu and prepare to defend whatever portions are necessary. Send everybody else away, because those katana cavalry are going to be a major nuisance. Because they probably will not break until the last of them. And it's also at this point I noticed something else. That general unit managed to survive somehow, and he's now pushing back up the wall. And I'm not even gonna worry. I thought I wasn't gonna have to worry about him, but I decide anyway that it's probably better to just worry about him. This is practically how the battle wraps up. We take one last move. Have whatever unit can fire any ammunition left to start firing down on anyone they could. Have anyone who doesn't have any ammunition to get off the wall in preparation for battle. So let's move these archers off the wall, and we're going to have they're gonna have a jolly old time fighting the dojo samurai left there. while at the same time, my archers are prepared with the flaming arrows they have left, and these are both samurai, ready to fight. So immediately we see they're climbing up the other wall, and immediately as I anticipated it, so I had to tell my men, walk back. Everyone stop in position and prepare to intercept the katana cavalry. It doesn't take long before the katana cavalry on that side actually do break. So that's another issue. In our last man-ditch effort, tell everybody to climb up the wall since they're not going to actually assault their front any longer. And I noticed that, you motherfucker, you're still alive. I say, okay, you know what? Let's go ahead and murder what's left of this guy. Because he's dying off by the arrow fire. I actually did not need to turn my men around. But I simply choose to because, well, it's the freaking general. Let's see some extra experience. Let's light him up with flame arrows. We got it good. Have our archery towers prepared, and the katana cavalry on the other side of the tenshu are now climbing, and they are made their way up. I've had my archers prepared to go and engage in melee, if all else fails. So now, they're marching up, and the strike has begun. Both sides of katana cavalry are now prepared to engage my men, and I am just simply moving in to finally deal with the last bit of Takara resistance. It is a close victory because both sides break without question, and we move on to the battle results because there was nothing left. We only lost one unit of Yari Yashigaru, but that's okay. We can always get him back. Too bad I can't get back those dojo samurai. We got a lot of experience because they were only dojo. That problem is fixed at the end of this episode. By the end of this episode. So the Takara have failed in their invasion and are now preparing a second attempt to attack. While they can't recuperate men, I can, and I'm preparing my march on Kai at the same time. So basically, nothing else really happens throughout the intern sequence, except for maybe a few things with Date, who decides that it's probably a good idea for the Oda to embargo us. He does so without thinking about the consequences, but that's okay. What winds up happening, the second major thing that winds up happening is that my army of Musashi is not ready to move out. And I was shocked. I was dumbfounded. Like, what happened? Apparently they were sabotaged, and I needed to go deal with that little Metsuke with the Yamanuchi over there. And I was very prepared to do so. That I was. Oh yes, that I was. First, let's go ahead and deal with the problem at hand with the whole money situation. We have enough money to start repairing. Since we lost the money because of the Date, I immediately decide, you know what, let's break our trade agreements and start making our own money based on infrastructure. All of my territories are now beginning to become fortresses, and I am just not at all looking forward to this problem that's going to occur. I've tried to think of the best way of spending my money as well as possible. I decided in South Shinano that what I was going to do is I was actually going to build a barracks. I'm gonna actually build a barracks in South Shinano to actually help with the military. But that'll be the last thing I build because the encampment system is a little broken. I also decide, let's go bully the Yamanuchi a little. So I take my 3-star ninja. I should have taken my 3-star ninja and like sent him up there, but I decided let's deal with the Metsuke first. Since I have all of these agents over there and Shiraga, I can deal with the problem at hand without too much of trouble. While at the same time I still needed to recruit my garrisons over in Totomi and Mikawa provinces. While I also considered building that castle, I decided in my best interest that it was not worth the time. Let's instead go for something else. But it's as tempting as it is, I decided let's just wait a minute. No. Here we go. This is my thinking process when I'm doing this. God dang it. So, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just do it. I got the money to spend. Let's just make it the castle anyway. So we make it a castle. So I make it a castle, and I improve my I don't know why. I don't know why I decided not to do it. I was thinking about improving my God dang it, my sake into a gambling hall. I should have done it to gain more money, but I chose not to, for unspecified reasons. So I decided to finally deal with the issue. The Date, who forced my friend, the Oda, to break the trade agreements with me. I decided to deal with the problem a little bit later, even though I know for a fact that I've got some trade problems going on over there in the southern seas. There it is. There's a trade problem. That was enough of a reason to say, you know what? I'm losing a lot of money on this. I am losing a lot of money on this. So let's go ahead and cancel those trade agreements anyway. We don't need to trade with nobody but the Oda. But I can't do that because the Oda still has their turn going on. Frick. So I spent all my money, and I'm now going to prepare to end my turn. I'm now prepared on the end of my turn sequence, and let's see what happens in this part. So the time has come. I've now noticed that the sabotage has been successful. We lost our trade with the Oda, and now the time has come to deal with our little ninja friend, the Hatakeyama. Wait, what? That was a Hatakeyama ninja? Oh god, I don't even remember. The sabotage has failed. I was like, you motherfucker. Fine, fuck all. Okay, that failed. My Metsuke will get rid of him. Apprehend that motherfucker. That ninja has been a bane in my existence too, because he's the first ninja to actually be a complete failure. So I wait for the he's been executed, and I decide now is the time. Date, I need to speak to you. But not before we do one more thing. We see that the Metsuke has actually increased in level, so now the time has come for us to actually deal with the issue at hand. So Date, you forced me to break my trade agreements, so now I will break. Okay, will you take an alliance? You will take an alliance. Okay. Oh god. You will take an alliance though. But I'm going to cancel my trade agreements with you, simply because I don't need you against me. Rather with me, since you made me break my trade agreement with the Oda, you bastards. So now, the time has come for me to deal with the issues at hand. The embargo will last for 9 more turns. Literally, when the episode 15 comes out, the trade embargo will end, and we can actually come forth with more stuff. But we can't exactly move any further without worrying about these guys, the Aminuchi, from actually trying to attack. I decided that it would be within my best interest, though, to take Kai instead, using the forces I've gathered in Izu, Suraga, and Sagami provinces. So I begin to move my men forward into Kai as far as I can, so that I can actually force them to take a second thought before attacking my forces in South Shinano. So now I take my young, I think he's the Commissioner of Development, into attacking Kai. I'm hoping he's the Commissioner of Development, because if he is, I can actually do what I want to do. I decided to move my fire calves into the city of Kaga, into the province of Kaga, but then something happens. I decided that it was in my best interest to actually hold the siege on Kufu province, while I waited for my other men to go back. Since I saw that they were going to attack me anyway, I just decided we were going to pull back as soon as possible. The firecraft could not make it within the city, so I just decided, why not just move him into hiding as fast as possible. That's my decision. So now we decide it's finally time that I move the forces from Sagami province over to there as well. But first, let's deal with this Yamanouchi Metsuke, who is in my territory. He must be apprehended or dealt with by any means necessary. And now let's move our forces from Sagami to start moving towards Kai province. The Metsuke is executed, and we can start moving once again. Go. Can we move now? We can move now. Go. This would be the last bit of issues I will have. So now I'm just deciding to go ahead and move much of my forces into Musashi Province, leaving Shimosa in the bad spot. I then notice it's probably a bad idea to do that because I'd have to first off, I need to get as close to Kai Province as possible. So I decide let's go ahead and launch into the forest so that we can be safe. But then I notice that's kind of in a bad spot because Shimosa is going to be relatively undefended, and an army with a general can easily reach Shimosa. So I needed to deal with that problem first. I decided to make the problem even worse by making both roads as stations. Since I had enough money, I decided to see if I can build anything, and I just decided, no, let's just go ahead and recruit some units, as Shimosa will probably be one of the big fronts that I'll have, even though it's not actually worth it. At this point, I'm practically just waiting for the realm divide, and since my army in Musashi is now completely sabotaged, it's probably within our best interest. It's probably within my best interest to just start moving everybody away. I considered moving the cavalry over towards Kaga province, but that's unnecessary as I already have my fire cav. Now I moved my ninja to go ahead and scout one of the armies, specifically Matsudaira's army, because Matsudaira was the most forefront army. Something happened along the way. All right, so now the turn has pretty much ended, and now I'm pushing all of my forces. They've moved their armies out of Kai, which is a major mistake, because now I have the ability to actually come up and attack them from behind, potentially stopping any more resistance that comes my way. They don't have a chance of stopping me as I'm going to push forward. I decided let's keep one archer in that army, and let's move the cavalry within the extra army. And then let's have the actual commissioner of development, whom I find out is actually on the other side, coming towards Kai, over there. I decided to send some reinforcing units over towards there. They won't make it, and they won't make it before the turn's over. So I decided to regroup the side army with the other armies, and now Kai province is now officially mine, without too much of a threat. I could have taken it easily with just one army, but I just wanted to do overkill, just because overkill is great. Besides, I really wanted those horses. I didn't want the Takeda to have them anymore, because the Takeda have been the bane in my thorn for a little while. They betrayed me, so now I want it. The Shogun's ire has come. He is now fearing our attack. He is now fearing the Tokugawa Oda threat has become too much. I decide it's within my best interest to attack the weakened armies. But I did notice that the other army was actually still there, and I was like, oh no, it's not worth it yet. Let's go ahead and wait out for one more siege on South Shinano before actually making that final move. So I go ahead and say, let's go ahead and recruit some units. We need an archer unit in there. I just completely bypassed the idea of an archer unit. Don't know why I decided to. Until Army pointed out that I just need more archers in our territory, and I just said, yeah, let's go ahead and just replace all the recruited units with freaking archers. It's a bad idea to do that anyway, because I could get it from the Totomi province for a lot better. Speaking of Totomi province, and its nice little thing, I decided to send over my units. We wait another turn sequence, and pretty much we have everything set for game. Basically, nothing occurs over the course of that turn sequence that was of note for us, I should say. We kept this little thought, and I kept this thought in mind as I continue to start recruiting as many archers in this territory as possible, and in Saraga, beginning to prepare myself garrisons within the southern territories. I now realize, after watching this from the second perspective for the second time, that I should probably recruit some troops from Sagami province rather than actually recruiting the garrisons in the other provinces, as they're going to be a lot more heavily reared towards my forces later on, and I need this as much as possible. Army has decided that it is finally time to begin preparing for the final assault on that front, And I say, you know what? Let's go ahead and mess with the Yamanuchi. And then I see this Takada force coming straight for me on the other side. I say to myself, is it a good idea to completely ignore the threat in South Shinano and just attack North Shinano? So, and I say, why not? Let's just get our army prepared for it anyway. Yes, I also forgot to repair Kai that last turn, and I didn't realize it at first. So now that I do realize it, I need to actually repair that building. It cost me just about as much as it would to recruit a long Yari Ashigaru. So I decided to cancel one of the recruitment slots. I know one of them had to be canceled. So I don't know why I decided to cancel that one of all things. That pretty much solved that problem. I decided to build post roads and stations, prepare myself. Oh, no, never mind. I didn't do that. I thought I did that. I must have did it next episode. Whatever. It's fine. It's fine. Totally breaking the fourth wall as much as possible in this narration. Oh, God. Okay. So I see that I can recruit some Great Guard bow cavalry, which are going to be very, very handy later on. I just know it. And I would have to wait another assault before anything else could occur. So I see now that he has prepared his armies to march. And Key Province doesn't actually I don't need to worry about Key Province too much. I see that they're actually bringing back a sizable force that actually screams at me, do not let him go and attack the Hatano just yet. But I'm very warlike after a long time. So I decide, why not be a little bit more warlike and just say, let's go ahead and declare war on the Shogun now. But he's still allied with the Shogun, so we can't technically declare war on him yet. Something has to happen that will cause him to actually say, okay, we're in a bit of we have the ability now. He already knows that as he stands, he could take Kyoto on his own, but he doesn't care for Kyoto. So I'm going to be the guy who takes it from him. Also, I remember my Metsuke has leveled up, and I also decided to go ahead and give him a little bit of the secret policeman, finish off the magistrate, and make him better at apprehending my forces, until I decide it's just better to go ahead and just give him the apprehension of forces more before I give him the magistrate, because I just simply wanted to have him not have trouble apprehending others. Now, none of the other things actually did matter to me. The censorship and the Iojutsu were pretty nice, I will admit, but they were not actually necessary for me. And I look at the retainers. The retainers are rather terrible, honestly. So I just go with the 2 repression of the garrison. So with everything finished off, I decided let's go ahead and bump our taxes up to very high, where most of my provinces are going to have some minor problems, but for the most part, we're going to be fine. Our people are pretty much going to be great. Most of our people are going to we're starting to lose our income, or rather our population, I'm starting to lose my population because of this. And now it's finally time for me to actually move my second army into a position to finish off the Takada forces within the lands, allowing the Date to make their push on Takada Echizen. This was all it took, and pretty much the third final encounter that actually occurs is that our biggest change was we're finally ready to take the east and the west at the same time. I choose to go ahead and prepare myself for one major wait, because nothing else pretty much happens throughout the rest of the episode unless you include the recruiting of extra units and one other major attack that I just ignored entirely, because it was just going to be one easy fight once again. I decided, let's do the thing. Oh god, not that. That's not what I wanted to do at all. Let's close out of that. Oh wait. Yep. Okay. I remember now. I checked some things for him, basically telling him that you didn't need a gunsmith in order to build the Matchlock Ashigaru. Because the Matchlock Ashigaru were all you needed was gunpowder mastery and a fort. If you had those two things, you could actually recruit gunpowder units. That's all you needed was those two things. So now with that confirmed, Army has pretty much dissolved his powder makers because he doesn't even want them. I decided to make one last move because my freaking ninjas suck so bad whenever my turn started to hit that it was just going to be even easier for me to make one more attack just possible. So pretty much I just simply wonder, is it about time? As the time has come, we are now prepared with our Nagidano monks and our Nagidano samurai. But we have a suspicious death occur. And I am not one happy camper because of this. A death has occurred. It is a Takana ninja who killed off my young men. I killed that ninja without a second thought. He is executed, and our province is once again in a good position to strike. We're not letting any one of them. I'm not going to allow any of them to take me head on without as much of a decent fight. So now I begin to say it's time to move my men towards the border. I accidentally moved them into the Takana territory without actually thinking. And I think about moving my units out of the province, but I only decided to stick with the Katana Samurai with the approved defense. I thought it would be a great idea to attack again, but I felt like I was going to get ambushed, and I didn't want to risk being ambushed. If I was ambushed, I would be screwed. So what I decided to do now was I moved some of my Long Yari Ashigaru from Totomi province into Suraga province, even though I technically did have, because I had technically less troops in there than I did in the other area. I know for a fact that there's a Takana force waiting for me inside of South Shinano. The problem was I didn't know exactly where. So I just simply said, you know what? It'll probably be better to wait for an attack to occur because they're basically sending everything they've got at me in South Shinano. So we've done everything we could, and pretty much all I needed to do now was figure out what to do with that Metsuke, because that Metsuke just all of a sudden disappeared on me earlier that episode. I moved my ninja in to scout up with the army, and I decided to use my other ninja, who is supposed to be good at what he does, to go ahead and sabotage the second army. The first army with the general. The army was sabotaged, and that ninja had some major problems. He ranked up. Yes, this is the one time he does something useful. And I get so upset with him later because he can't do jack shit anymore. Like, so seriously, he could not do jack shit anymore. But that pretty much is how this episode ended. I basically picked the sushi chef for the extra stuff, and we're just going to end it off there. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and I'll see you next time.